Shalom, 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 shalom. Peace and greetings to the hopeful elect. Starting off giving all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Nathan Layah, the spirit that do this lesson, Baba Kwashah. Yahweh is the name of the Father, Yahweh Shai is the name of the Son, who the world ignorantly calls God and Jesus. Bahasham means in the name. All right, this is the Paleo Hebrew, which is prophesied for us to call on the name of the Lord in these last days before his return to save us. The true biblical bloodline Israelites, which are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, as well as the Israelite foreigner Gentiles that might look like the heathen nations. Greetings to these digital epistles. My name is Makwadash out of the, Los Angeles camp, Branch, Pasadena. All right. And here's some of the latest news, okay, which you just had a ceasefire deal going on between Babylon the Great, aka America, and Iran, the Persians. And there was some type of agreement to allow American ships to pass through the Strait of Hormuz because it was blocked off. The Iranians have control over the Strait of Hormuz, and what that is a straight, narrow passageway where a lot of ships, products, exports, imports are conducted, oil and products, not only to America, but the nation surrounding that area. So there was a big deal going on, and, it's partly why the gas prices over here in America went up almost instantly, because they say that 20% of the world's oil, America's oil, comes from there. So that was a big deal. There was a lot of war tension. Supposedly, the U.S. ships couldn't get through, and they were pretty much held hostage. And they were threatened that anybody come through this passageway, you're going to get hit with a mine. And I believe there was a Filipino ship that tried to go ahead. So all America's allies as well weren't allowed to pass through, which was creating heavy division between, the American alliance and only nations that were down with Iran, Russia, BRIC nations, stuff like that. They were allowed to pass through. But there was just recently an agreement like 2-3 days ago. Okay, because that alone could have led to, nukes, World War III, which we're in the midst of it. But we know, according to prophecy, everything has to be aligned to prophecy. There's no random issues outside of prophecy. Now, there's scrimmages and proxies, but prophecy is the groundwork, the foundation, all right, in the background. Okay, World War III is going to happen, the third world's woe pertaining to Revelations. Okay, the nukes, that's going to happen, the icing on the cake. Salvation from that's going to happen. The elect, the chosen of the Israelites. Jacob's trouble, the fall of society. Okay, the mark of the beast, all those things are the foundation of biblical prophecy. Then you have the proxies and the schisms, which the so-called rulers of this world, which are the Edomites of the Bible, the so-called white man, they're trying to go around prophecy, but it can't be done. All right, so let's play this, because this is some of the breaking news already. Like we've been telling you, when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction shall come upon them. All right, there will be no peace and no safety. There will be no everything going back to normal. All right, because the Lord is driving, taking the wheel at this point. And we're going to just hit a few, because this will be very short, because I'm at work. All right, so let's play this. Just like in ancient Egypt, when Pharaoh was, he was putting on a show. When Moses, came to him and said, look, let my people go. Pharaoh said, nah, who the hell are you? And who is this God you serve? Moses did a few little miracles, you know what I'm saying? They started off lightweight. That's how the Lord wanted it to go. He started off lightweight. Pharaoh thought he could match that with his magi's and his witches and warlocks. Okay? And so he felt pretty confident because they could do magic. He didn't understand that the Lord ain't dealing with magic. Okay? There is magic on the left hand, but the right hand, you're dealing with spiritual power. You're dealing with the Most High, the creator of all things. Okay? So it got to a point where Pharaoh, his hands were tied. His magicians, his whole cabinet of warlocks and witches and You know, they couldn't do anything else to appease his delusion. All right. And what happened was the Spirit of the Lord totally took over to the point where he let the people go, to the point of his own destruction. All right. So we're coming into that point where the Lord is taking the wheel, and enough is enough, and the Lord's going to hyperspeed this thing. You know, the scriptures say in Matthew's that we should hasten the day. You know, hope, you know, that it hurries up, because there'll be no flesh to be saved. Okay. If not, so the day is hastening. Speed is time. Time is speeding up. There is no scientific breakdown to that. See, these carnal men, okay, the so-called white man, he wants to have a scientific break. No, it's all spiritual. You might be able to track it, you know, acknowledge it through science, but that's it. So already now America wants to block. We're gonna let it speak.
Si tú también eres mamá de dos niños como yo, estoy segura que también se te está acabando el espacio de almacenamiento en el teléfono.
Navy and most of their mine droppers.
Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. You know, these things are not tarrying anymore. The vision is yet for an appointed time. In the end, it shall speak; it shall not tarry. So now, regardless what these people want to do to prolong their kingdom and act like they got all the power, see, they're basking in their own pride. They love to get on stage and have everybody pay attention to them and listen to them, because they're very insignificant people and low self-esteem. You know, I forget the word I'm looking for. All right. So it's all about your soul, your attention. Okay. Your validation as looking to them towards something. But we're not stayed upon our enemies anymore. We're stayed upon, okay, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, which we've been called to be. All right. Because these people, they don't have any wisdom anymore. Is there any more wisdom in teaming? They're just basking off pure pride, just like Pharaoh was. Not even seeing how close to destruction and what they're going up against. Like, what are you talking about, bro? We're talking about Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, the supreme power that created your dumb ass. And then we running it down to you of who you are in the scriptures, the script of this movie. We had a script. Okay? So now somehow they done blocked the Strait of Hormuz. I thought they wanted it to be open. Okay, because so-called, you know, Iran, they're making people pay tolls to pass through. So let's see, because I didn't even get to watch this yet. Let's see what it's about.
Iran promised to open the Strait of Hormuz, and they knowingly failed to do so, the president writes. This caused anxiety, dislocation, and pain to many people and countries throughout the world. They say they put mines in the water, even though all of their navy and most of their mine droppers have been completely blown up. So there you have it.
And that's a lie. That's a lie. Okay? If all this shit been blown up, why did there need to be a ceasefire? Why does there need to be these agreements made? If America just been running through shit, what is this? Why do they got to come to the table? Okay? Because in time past, man, you know, Babylon, they'll just blow some shit up. Like, look, we're going to have it our way or no way. Okay? That strait was closed for a little second, man. All right? If you really knew what was going on, you'd have a whole new outlook. Okay? America lost this first portion of the war terribly. That whole, and I was getting ready to do a piece-by-piece lesson and show you some evidences. But my old phone, I just had to get rid of. All of that was stored in there. The screen just went out the day I got paid. But what really happened, they were trying to put boots on the ground over there in Iran, and them Iranians smoked their ass. All of them C-130s. So you're looking at hundreds of men that died right there alone. Okay, that whole story about this old rescue, the nigga from the jet that was down, no, that's totally off, bro. That's totally propaganda. And then I had a video showing you the damage of what happens to pilots when they have to eject at that type of speed. One dude was breaking it down, how his fucking foot was hanging on by a damn string of his tendons. All right, back was broken, neck was broken, everything. That's how serious that is when you have to eject. So ain't no way they went and rescued some pilots and the pilot made it out and climbed the mountain and waited for no. Okay.
Their navy and most of their mine droppers have been completely blown up. So there you have it. The meeting went well. Most points were agreed to, but the only point that really mattered, nuclear, was not. Effective immediately, the president states, the United States Navy, the finest in the world, will begin the process of blockading any and all ships trying to enter or leave the Strait of Hormuz. At some point, we will reach an all being allowed to go in, all being allowed to go out basis, but Iran has not allowed that to happen by merely saying there may be a mine out there somewhere that nobody knows about but them. This is world extortion, and leaders of countries, especially the United States of America, will never be extorted. I have also instructed our Navy to seek and interdict every vessel in international waters that has paid a toll to Iran. No one who pays an illegal toll will have safe passage on the high seas. We will also begin destroying the mines the Iranians laid in the straits. Any Iranian who fires at us or at peaceful vessel.
Why didn't you do that at first? You see, it's all about propaganda over here. It's all about trying to one up. Okay? Pride, man. The Lord said, thy pride is deceive thee, Esau, you so-called white man. Hey, pride coming for the destruction. Why can't you niggas chill? You got all the money in the world, and we don't want you to chill. Okay? You could just cough up $1 trillion whenever you want. Why can't you just chill? Go drink some cognac, man. All right? But these devils, they don't like women. Okay? They're bloodthirsty, as the scriptures say. That's their, babies, children, men. Jeremiah 51:25, behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain. Okay, mountain is synonymous with government. It's talking about Babylon the Great, America. That's what this whole chapter is going into. Saith the Lord Yahweh, which destroyeth all the earth, and I will stretch out my hand upon thee, and roll thee down from the rocks, and will make thee a burnt mountain, dealing with the nukes. But see, the reason why I brought this out, the Lord is against Babylon the Great. Manifest Destiny, that chapter is over. Because that was a chapter where the Lord allowed, put it in the minds of men to set up America to be a prison house to the Israelites, the children of Israel. But that time is up. And if you notice, the more chaos and destruction that comes in the background, the more we're liberated in the spirit, the more we feel better. Okay, it's amazing how that works. The more we're liberated, hope deferred maketh the heart sick. So our hope is that the Lord hurry this thing up, and the longer it takes, we get sick in the mind, man. So that's amazing, bro. That proves that Yahweh Shem Shai gonna get us out of here, because shit, the more our value goes up. All right, I'm out here in Cali, and the atmosphere almost feel like the COVID era. Niggas looking down, niggas is weary, scared, trying to play it off. The women, they want to get close to you, want to all follow you, smiling at, because of what we represent. See, everything is played out through the spirit, energy, You can't lie with energy. Okay? And see, so the Lord is against this place. So anything you devils do is not working, man. And you're still in that little nitpick, womanly spirit, not understanding that it's your final end. You might want to sit back there, pa. Okay? Before you get dealt with, man. This is the time of threshing, all right, for Babylon. Okay? And the harvest is next, man. We're going to eat, man. We're going to divide the spoil, man. The elect. We just got to be patient and renew our strength in Yahweh Bashim Shai, whatever that means, man. We're going to find out. Okay? So let's finish playing this. All right?
Will be blown to hell. The president writes, Iran knows better than anyone how to end the situation which has already devastated their country. Their navy is gone. Their air force is gone.
That's another lie. They ain't even used all their, they ain't even used 1% of all their Navy, Air Force or nothing. They have underground bunkers with that stuff. All right, they've been using all of they old equipment, and then they got Russia, China, and them other countries backing them. So they got a whole plethora. Where's that at where the scriptures say, we shall trust and stay upon horses, but their horses shall be swifter than your horses. Okay, you people are trusting in America. We got the best technology and all that, but the Lord said he gonna have their equipment and military shit. Okay, trump yours, man. You trusting in those things. You ain't trusting in the counsel of the Lord via his prophets. You trusting in what you think you got, and they lying to you, man. Okay. Iran have been preparing for war for centuries now, and for this American war, and the way they've set things up. Like the U.S. got these huge billion-dollar U.S. carriers and all this stuff. They got tactical boats that are swift with missiles and guns and 50 cals. All right, they can attack and get up out of there before you can even shoot a missile. The missile might move. If you ever looked at some of those speed boats, they got them type of niggas, and they got plenty of them. on top of their own carrier ships and all them different stuff, missile technology, all that stuff. So there's no way you could have destroyed. Okay, America don't even know what they really got, because they also have Russia and them other countries backing them, and they don't know what they got. All right, and they got better technology. Russia got better technology than Babylon the Great. All right, when you actually go into tit for tat, what America has versus China and Russia. Okay, even with this little war that just popped off, okay, the whole radar infrastructure of America got totally decimated. All right, to the point where they were shooting down painted images on the ground of helicopters and planes, thinking they were taking out Iranian. Man, 1 second. All right, and they put that on the media. And see, we're in an information age where you can't control the media anymore. People have cell phones. So people were recording these things over there in the East and showing you how America was doing nothing but shooting paintings, man. And from a distance, from a helicopter or a craft, it looked real. All right. So you Americans are being fed a lie so that you won't turn into repentance. So there is no healing for America, because America can't repent anyway. Only the Israelites. And this is why we tell you, Jakes, this is what we out here for. You Negro, Latinos, and Native American, and also the Israelite foreigner Gentiles that might look like the heathen, that adhere to this doctrine and call upon the name of Yahweh B'Shem Yahshai for salvation. Because everybody's being divided. Okay, you got the good versus evil, the elect versus the majority masses of the people. Okay, and the elect are the only people that's going to be saved at the end of the day from all of these troubles, man. That's going to have confidence and faith and have a stable mind through this. All right.
Anti-aircraft and radar are useless. Khomeini and most of their leaders are dead, all because of their nuclear ambition. The blockade will begin shortly. Other countries will be involved with this blockade.
Hey, Isaiah 14 is starting now. People are starting to narrowly look upon this devil and say, is this the man that caused the earth to tremble? All right, so these devils, they're not used to not being that dude. Nobody's really looking for Zach and Cody like that. They'll use Zach and Cody. Back in the day, Zach and Cody, man, they got all the play. They could do no wrong. All right, now these devils are just, it's all about getting Jake, the Negro, Latino, Native American man, having fun, having some rhythm, having some swag, having some salt, some flavor. Okay, not Chad and, shit. You got uppity bitches, blonde, that's dealing with Tyrone. And then on a political level, you devils are you're exposed. Starting with your chief, the chief tribe of your own people, the Amalekites of the Bible, the small hats, which are not the real JOOs, but the synagogue of Satan, Revelations 2 and 9. So you're exposed on a level to where, all right, you're not looked at as this great individual superhero no more, okay? And you can't handle that. So you gotta use your media to put you back in that type of light. And that's why these devils are mad all over the world. Especially these American Edomites, they're mad because they're not getting the same type of play. Shit, a lot of them, they got to deal with the black woman now. No shot against the black woman, but they can't get their own woman. Okay, and they got to get the bottom of the barrel, but because that don't make the so-called black woman the bottom of the barrel, but a lot of these women behavior. Okay, a match made in hell. Eve and the serpent all over again. They're gonna go out together, man. All right, and Jake is gonna rise above the bullshit. We're gonna rise up out of the ashes. You see, as the new rulers of the earth under our King Yahushai, the house of David, man. Okay.
Iran will not be allowed to profit off this illegal act of extortion. They want money, and more importantly, they want nuclear. Additionally, and at an appropriate...
Yeah, they got America looking like a clown. They controlled the real narrative of this war. That was very temporary, short. Okay? They was laughing the whole time, man. Look at those Lego videos of what really happened that they're putting out. Rap songs. And so Babylon is looking bad. So in the ears of you dumb Americans, which at this point, I don't even know why they care. Okay, and it just proves that you Americans ain't shit, man. You done set up here and you don't even hear about the Epstein. Now you done became super patriots because of this war. Well, goddamn, pick a war, pick a side, man. You've just shown that you've picked the side of the pedo warriors, man. And you still want to keep up the bullshit. You still want to keep up the hatred, the racism, all of this different shit. All right. And so, you know, shit, I even got a different outlook on you people now, especially you Edomite men, because you're the ones that's supposed to be picking up arms and doing your thing. You're the ones that act like you're the superheroes of the earth. Jake, we in prison over here. We ain't got nothing here. This ain't our fight. But even you Jakes, look at you different. Jake is patriotic now, just to save their ass, because they know it's over, man. All you people care about is yourself, not even the children. And see, you can't say nothing to us because we are fighting. We never liked this place. We don't like this place. And we on the front lines of this war, man. We bringing this place down via the word, man. Two-edged sword. Cursing these elites out. And you people catching strays. Because when we go out to these city streets and we do these digital epistles, okay, they hear everything we saying. That's why we doing it. We don't know where they live. We don't have the power, the military might to go step to them. So we just step to them without nothing. Just like that account in the book of Maccabees, where the Lord, the strength, you know, the strength of battle cometh from heaven. All right. And our people once before went out to war with no weapons and overcame through the strength of the Lord, man. And that's what we're going to do. Okay.
Moment, we are fully locked and loaded, and our military will finish up the little that is left of Iran. President Donald J. Trump.
Yeah, right.
Truly an extraordinary move by the president that follows on a lot of extraordinary moves by the president.
If they was finishing up Iran like that, Russia would have already stepped in, and that's why they quiet, because it's like, oh, okay, y'all got this. We don't even need to move yet. Okay, and if it was really like that, the nukes would have got, you would have got nuke play. All right, there would have been some type of nuke play. But these devils don't really want to do that. Okay? Because we've been telling them what that represents. All right? So again, everything, you people are being controlled through fear to worship the image of the beast. Because next is the mark of the beast. And you're going to take that chip. You're going to put that chip underneath your skin and solidify your destruction here in Babylon the Great and around the world. All right? With the icing on the cake. The day of the Lord's vengeance, his arrows that should be shot from one end of the earth to the other. Those missiles, man. Okay? And this word should be the stability of our time. It's going to see us all the way through. Okay? And we just continue, all right, to trust in the words of Yahweh Bashim Yashai, not be offended at any part of it. You see?
President, recognizing that these are international waterways, and for 47 years you've had the mullahs of Iran holding the Strait of Hormuz hostage, holding the entire world hostage because of a weird little crook in the Strait of Hormuz that died.
No, because shit, the Strait of Hormuz, all that stuff over there was controlled, locked down by America. And that's what Babylon is mad about. America's mad about the petrodollar. Everybody dropped the petrodollar. Think about the word petrodollar, okay? The U.S. currency was used for trading through oil all over that region. And it kept the value of the dollar pretty much stable, even though it was backed by nothing. It's supposed to be backed by gold, all right? Which if it was still backed by gold, shit, we'd all be living real nice, all right? You wouldn't need as many dollars to pay for things because that's all it is. It ain't the actual dollar. You need more dollars because the value is decreasing. So now the nations, they got their own way of trade between, you know, money systems, okay, which is all going digital, all right? And this how you know they're all in cahoots. You know, this is just theater, all right? But it's also, all right, it gets real because the elites of these nations, they all playing ball, but then you have everybody else and it becomes real, all right? The death, the wars, the division, the starvation, the want, you know. But even among these elites, all right, the Lord is stirring up division because the elites of these other nations that once was playing ball with the so-called white man, they want their part too. They don't want to just be under you Edomites. So the day of those nukes, man, all right, what does it say in Obadiah? All the men that were in confederate to thee have deceived thee. You devils are so proud you can't see that everybody, you know, niggas will play ball with you because you got the money, you know, at this right now, but they looking for you to take you out, man. Okay.
It's deep into Iranian territory that allows them to control 20% of the world's oil and gas supply. And President Trump has called their bluff.
Okay. Hey, we're more, I forget how that scripture said, we're more bold than his fellows. Where is that in Daniel's? Well, that's what that's speaking about. I forget how it says it. All right, but the American Edomite, the American so-called white man, are more bolder than the rest of the Edomite nations that are in power as well, and it's also causing division between the EU and NATO alliances, the Russian, because they're all Edomites. That's how they're ruling. They all, you know, but now they're coming against each other. Here it is. You got the Russian Edomites that's willing, which Putin could be a Jake. They're willing to back up the Persians against their own, not seeing that it'd be more valuable for you to just all of you motherfuckers to come together, because this gonna be it for you, man. This is Ezekiel 26:2, Son of man, because that Tyrus said against Jerusalem, aha. What is Tyrus? Tyrus represents modern day Babylon, because ancient Tyrus was a port city. And America is known as the great city in Revelations 11:8, from the east to the west. Okay? And what do you have to do to make up a city? You have to have citizens. All right? So Tyrus was an ancient city, a port city like America. Okay, that was pretty much preserved and hard to take down because it was in the middle of the waters, like America. She is broken. That was the gates of the people. See, now somehow this place is broken. Isaiah 47:1. Babylon shall no longer be called tender and delicate. This is not a tender, delicate place, you know, comfortable place to be anymore. And it's getting harder by the week. All right. And why is that? Because of what they've done against Jerusalem. Jerusalem is a people before it's a place. They stole our land. They're parading around with our nationality like it's them. They lied to the world of who we are. They rewrote history. They destroyed all the ancient libraries that we built. And then they rewrote and then set up new libraries, put all their images in it, and literally rewrote the history and lied about a lot of the stuff that we invented, and they just took it on to themselves. Okay? So now the gates of this place is broken. She is turned unto me. I shall be replenished. Now she is laid waste. Okay? This is going to be the replenishment of the Lord and his people, the fall of this place. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I am against thee, O Tyrus. I will cause many nations to come up against thee, as the sea causes his waves to come up. And so these nations are secretly and forwardly against Babylon the Great, and they all have swords in their hands. Okay, let the weak say I'm strong. Joel the 3rd chapter. And they shall destroy the walls of Tyrus and break down her towers. I will also scrape her dust from her and make her like the top of a rock. It shall be a place for the spreading of nets in the midst of the sea. Yeah, here it is, America. Bro, there's no way. You don't have the, okay, you go into a foreign land with your little measly boats on the sea, bro. You know how dangerous and huge the sea is? You're at a disadvantage. But your pride is still, you know, oh, we're the Americans, in technology. Bro, that don't matter, bro. Let the weak say I'm strong. All these nations got what you got and more. And you're at a disadvantage. And that's one thing when you're a fighter and you really fight, you understand that. You could have all the fighting in the world, but you don't make stupid decisions. You don't, hey, there's no more wisdom in Teman, as the scriptures say. You Edomites. The Temanites are the wise tribe of Esau Edom, which are, okay, the Germanic people. And that's where a lot of these small hats people come from. Okay, that's why they have Germanic names. Shishkenberg and all that. They're not the Israelites. Okay? They don't have Hebrew names. Even the Hebrew they use is Yiddish. It's not real. It says, it shall be a place for the spreading of nets in the midst of the sea, for I have spoken it, saith the Lord Yahweh, and it shall become a spoil to the nations. So go ahead. We might be dealing with hostage situations real soon, more. Okay? And, you know, they're going to sweep a lot of that under the rug. Shit, for all we know, you could be thousands of hostages in Iran right now, man. Hundreds. Okay? It says, let me get this real quick. Now thou son of man, take up the lamentation for Tyrus, and say unto Tyrus, this is 3, O thou that art situated at the entry of the sea. Yeah, it makes it hard for these countries to take America, because the way it sits in the middle of the sea. All right, and if you understand the Bible spiritually, calls certain nations other nation names. For example, in Revelations 11 and 8, it calls them about the great city America, spiritual Egypt, spiritual Sodom and Gomorrah, you know, because the prophets in their time, they didn't speak English, and they didn't know to call the visions that they seen. All right, they didn't know to call these places because they saw these things play out. They didn't know to say America. They just likened it unto a like a port. Okay, the prophet Ezekiel, all right, he would liken America, because at times he was speaking about the actual Tyrus, but then he was speaking about America, and he would liken America unto Tyrus best way he could, you know, not knowing how to say America or the Americans, you know what I mean? It says, and this is how the Lord wanted this Bible to be written anyway, decoded, all right, so that you need his spirit to decode it. It says, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, O Tyrus, thou that hast said, I am of perfect beauty. And that's how you hear these devils talking, like they don't have, their shit don't stink, they can do no wrong, everything they do is just perfect, they take no losses. Come on, bro, you can't trust nobody that talk like that. You ask a UFC nigga why did he become a UFC, he might tell you, shit, I used to get bullied a lot, I had to learn how to fight. Now he loves it. He ain't gonna sit up there and be like, yeah, I was flawless, man. Every time a nigga looked at me, I just socked him up. No, man. That's how Babylon sounds right now. Very immature, childlike. Scriptures speak about that. Thy borders are in the midst of the seas. Thy builders have perfected thy beauty. Not anymore. Ever since the late 1960s, the Lord has been breaking and bringing this place down, according to the book of Obadiah. All right. At the beginning, where the Lord put his spirit back on his people, starting with our elders. All right, they have made all thy ships boards of, okay, skip. All right, 1 second. Yeah, so let's go back to this and we'll let this play out. I just wanted to get that. Let me get one more scripture and I'm gonna let this play out, because I want to I'm at work, ain't no telling who's gonna interrupt me, so I want to let the rest of this video just play. But let me bring this out real quick. Because remember in Ezekiel 29 and 38, you know, and chapter 38, the Lord said he's going to put hooks into Gog and Magog's jaws, which proves that the Lord, meaning that, you know, he's going to control you. The Lord is controlling this thing. All right. And you don't even know it. That's how terrible. It's a terrible thing to fall into the hands of the Lord. At the end of the day, when this thing is said and done, the Lord's going to get all the glory. It's going to be said that, damn, the Lord really did all of this, and them devils didn't even see it coming. And you're going to be long gone. Okay? When we speak about you devils. And we ain't going to speak about you too long. We're going to celebrate your destruction. And that's going to be it. We're going to start our new expeditions and discoveries. And, you know, life really begins at that point. This is Romans 9:28. For he will finish. 1 second. Let's start at 27. Isaiah also crieth concerning Israel, which are you Negro, Latino, and Native Americans. Though the number of the children of Israel be as the sand of the sea, a remnant shall be saved. So only a remnant going to be saved. Because as you can see, it's hard for people to even believe that we're the people, because the majority of our people...
Radio check from Switcher 509.
2/3 of our people are completely corrupted after the serpent. Totally corrupted after the ways of this system and the serpent. To the point they don't want this place to be destroyed. So they're going to choose Satan and rather die with Satan, man. All right, Satan, I'm speaking about the adversary. That's what it means. I'm speaking about the Edomite. He come after the working of Satan. 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter. I'm not talking about the spiritual demon Satan. So when we say the Edomite, the so-called white man, the devil the Bible speaks of, we mean that. We're not just saying that. That's what the scriptures say. Because the word devil just means deceiver. Okay, we're talking carnally. We're not talking spiritually. Okay. It says, for he will finish the work and cut it short in righteousness. See, So what we think is going to be is actually shorter than that. What you devils think is going to be, it really ain't that. The Lord said he was going to finish the work, which is all these prophecies, and cut it short. So you trying to set up peace. Hey, when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction shall come upon them. Everything you do is going to be used against you in the court of law, which is under Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, his angels and his men, really. So like when you get stopped by the cops, they'll say, hey man, it's better you just be quiet, and you really be trying to speak your story, speak your peace, thinking it's going to save you. But you devils, anything you do and say is being used against you. All right, to bring you closer and closer to your destruction. Okay, you're not speaking peace. Everything you do is venomous, man. As it says in Deuteronomy 32nd chapter, it says, the Lord will make, it says, because a short work will the Lord make upon the earth. See? And as the prophet Isaiah said before, except the Lord of armies, or Sabaoth, had left us a seed, yet just a small remnant, we had been as Sodom and been like unto Gomorrah. So the Lord has saved a remnant for himself. This is why, the true men of the Lord, man, we have an austerity to us that the world hates. It offends people. And if you're of this world, even among these other people that know they Hebrew Israelites, these other camps, these Christians, they all have an effeminate sodomite, they have that remnant of Sodom on them, man. Because Sodom and Gomorrah just didn't mean that everybody was homosexual. It was a place with a perverse spirit on it. And if you want this place to be saved and all of that, you whether you can hide it or not, because some people are good at hiding it, they seem normal, but you have a lot of perversity in you, bro. Think about this whole Epstein thing. Like, what do you mean? There has to be a change in rulership, bro. That would make you with them. And eventually you gonna do what they do then. If you in agreement. What they say, if you can't beat them, then join them. So let's let the rest of this play, because I got this foolishness.
He has basically captured the hostage and says, no more. You're not going to do it. And I predict that other countries that rely on that oil and gas more than the United States does, are going to come around and realize that this is probably the only way forward.
So Iran felt like they had the upper hand, that they had leverage by trying to take this strait. And in a,
as they always
1,394 square mile center,
they got leverage because it's in their backyard, period. What are you talking about? The fuck are you talking about?
Of that strait, where hundreds of tankers are passing every day, they have allegedly mined it. Reports are that they don't even know where the mines are. They put it there, thus redirecting any traffic that went through to come through Iranian waters, to which they made them pay a toll. Those are the ships the president's going to go after. But this decision to begin effective immediately blockading ships going in and out is a indication that Iran never had the leverage that they thought they had. As we send in 2 destroyers into the strait to begin the mine clearing conditions, and now blockading it to render Iran's leverage really useless, that they...
Now I could see Iran allowing them to come through now to, disassemble the mines, because they might, on some shit like, well, shit, y'all can go ahead if you want to come through. Shit, we'll leave that up to y'all to find the mines, because that's something realistic based. They probably lost, which they more likely didn't. But we'll see how this thing plays out. All right.
Can affect it. Now, this goes back, by the way, to have full context of it, because the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea says that no...
And remember this, still, Babylon, America hasn't had any type of control to stop the petrodollar, stop those Eastern nations from cutting away from the petrodollar. That's really the most important, and that's what they mad about. So really, you still don't have no power. You could do all of these schematics and, and we're going to do this, because they might be telling them one thing but telling us another thing. It might be some total peace talk they've been doing with them Iranians, like, yeah, we're just going to go through and clean up the coast, just making up, by example. I'm just making an example. But then they come back over here in the, American media and say, yeah, we shutting shit down over there. You know what I mean?
Bordering country to any strait, let alone Hormuz, can control it, let alone charge any sort of toll. And so the president's decision here is not only a reaction as a last resort to the fact that Iran won't play by the international law of the sea, but also you just had on April 7th, the United Nations held a resolution to basically open it up. And
let's say we wrong. Let's say that we got it, our perception is off, because we're really just telling you what the prophecies say. Still, the scripture stands that let every man be a lie and the Most High be how does it say it? Let's get it. And let the Most High be true. Okay? Let every man be a lie. And that applies to you devils, really. Okay? Because we go off what this prophecy say, what the Lord said. Not about what you devils ain't controlling nothing. You just, okay? God forbid, yea, let Romans 3 and 4, let God be true, Yahweh be true, but every man a liar. See, as it is written. You see? That thou mightest be justified in thy sayings and mightest overcome when. See? So we're going to be justified ultimately anyway. Because when it's all said and done, the results of what we've been saying are going to be proven. Okay? It don't matter, what type of, sauce I like on my burrito. It's at the end of the day, the missile's going to hit, the elect going to be saved, this place going to be destroyed, and many people are going to perish by the vengeance of the Lord. And you devils are going into slavery, and you other nations are going into captivity underneath the Israelites. And we're going to get our women back. You women going to get in order. All of those things are going to come true. And it ain't for you to see it now. Okay? It's not what you want anyway. The Lord don't want you to see it. He said he's going to come upon you people as a thief in the night.
tell Iran they could not do what they were doing, and it was vetoed by Russia and China. And so ultimately, this isn't just about Iran anymore. This is now also about China, who receives 80% or more of these oil tankers going to them. 90% go to Asian countries, and it is backfiring as shipping of energy starts heading east.
And this also
towards the U.S.
This forces countries like China to suddenly wake up and recognize that, wait a minute, we have to participate in this and clear the strait.
Do you remember after the successful mission rescuing the second airman, the downed Wizzo?
If you didn't know, Clio is a cash advance app where you can get up to $250. And I already know what you're thinking. What about my credit? Well, there is no.
The downed Wizzo. Director Ratcliffe came out and spoke along with General Kane and Secretary of War Hegseth. And the director said, you know, we have the best military in the world. We have the best agency. We have the best intelligence, bar none on the battlefield. Better described than I'm paraphrasing right now. But he said, but none of that matters. And all of that flies.
That's true. The scriptures say wisdom of a man is enough to take down a whole city. It's better than weapons of war. You can have all the technology in the world, but what do you do with it? You know, you could have the least best, but you be technical, be very wise and smart. You got the drop on the enemy. You studied the enemy well enough. And ultimately, strength of battle comes from heaven. All right. And that's where you niggas are not understanding. The Lord said, wait ye upon me, for my determination is to gather the nations and assemble them to war. And so you nations, you ain't got no control. You're doing exactly what the Lord wants you to do, man.
Out the window without a commander-in-chief who has the political courage to put it into effect. And I know that's a different specific scenario than this, but I am reminded of that statement that all of our capabilities are rendered impotent and useless without a commander-in-chief and a president with the political and the geopolitical and the diplomatic vision to truly put American...
Your commander-in-chief is actually the spiritual demon Satan right now, and he's taking orders from the Most High himself, the man that you people call God, that you claim you worshiping. All right, I'm not gonna get that scripture. Where's that? Sirach 34. You know, and then there's somewhere else I can never find it. It goes more into detail what Sirach 34 is saying. Good is set against evil. Okay, night against day. The duality of the Most High. Job, the 1st and 2nd chapter, shows you that Satan takes orders from the Most High to do his bidding on his left-hand side. Okay, just like if you're a business owner, you have different people you set up to do your bidding. You don't have to do it yourself. it makes it harder on you. All right, so you hire people to do it for you. Okay, so in order to bring about salvation and righteousness, you need Satan, man. Okay, so Satan is commanding you people. You're talking about you need a new leader. The only true man that's going to be profitable to be set up over the earth, like the scripture says, is Yahweh Shai. So what are you people talking about? Okay, you want to delve into this magic and this black magic, bro. That shit ain't stable, bro. That shit ain't forever. That's just appease you for a second, bro. All this witchcraft, this flattery you people speak to one another. You know, it's going to be peace, fun, pleasure, bro. That's doing nothing but destroying you. That's not reality on any part of the earth. Okay? Where was we going? I was going to get Ephesians to prove that point. All right? These people that sit at the top, they taking orders at the table from spiritual demon Satan. And he works for our power. So you work for us. So we're going to keep prophesying. Okay? We don't need to know what's really going on, you know, because what's really going on is prophecy. All the other shit is just scrimmage from men that have trillions of fake dollars that can move the media and that can upset and appease the itching ears of the people. Okay?
And interests first. This issue with Iran has been a thorn in the side of America and the free world for almost 50 years. And we have seen what used to be one of our strongest allies become our definitively strongest enemy, in addition to China, over the last 50 years. And every commander-in-chief kicked the can down the road. And finally, we have one. And it's sticky. We are watching the sausage being made. This is not pleasant, but it's necessary.
And every president of both parties, both Democrats and Republicans, have recognized this problem, and nobody has wanted to go after it. And also, we find ourselves, President Trump finds himself in a situation where you have the United Nations and NATO completely feckless, completely incapable of recognizing the importance and the wisdom of actually going after this problem and clearing the problem once and for all. For decades, you've had countries in...
Here we go. Hawk on over.
I need to pick up where you dropped us off.